General Hasnan, let me ask you my last question. How different is Putin's visit this time as compared to the earlier ones? What are the differences and what are the strategic implications this time?
For one, I think the first thing which comes to mind immediately is that the world is undergoing a reset. A global reset is underway
Right.
post the pandemic. We haven't really come to post-pandemic period as such,
Yeah.
but
Right.
we are looking at perhaps the pandemic ending, hopefully, with the new variant, possibly not being as lethal as what was expected to be. With that in mind, this is going to be a slow process. You see, the United States is fairly hell-bent on it now, that they would not like to get themselves committed, completely focused to the Middle East and the areas of Southwest Asia, this area of Afghanistan or
Right.
Central Asia for that matter, because there is a greater challenge for them awaiting on the other side in the Indo-Pacific, where the rise of China is not expected to be a very peaceful rise. So for long, this promise has been there. Barack Obama was making this promise for very, very long on so-called, this realignment, this rebalancing to the pivot of Asia to
Right.
this region. But he had been prevented, or America had been prevented primarily from doing that because of the challenges in the Middle East, which had come up,
Right.
particularly at the time of the ISIS, the rise of the ISIS, the Syrian civil war, the problems which were taking place in Yemen, the Iran-Saudi standoff. Now, all that hasn't finished. Some of it is very much there, but a serious attempt to balance out and stabilize that region is taking place. And hopefully, the Americans will be able to shift focus to the Indo-Pacific. So while that is happening, there is a reset taking place. Uh, that it is not clear as to how this reset will finally end. Is it going to end in absolute black and white lines to say there are nations who are in this group and the other nations who are in the other group? 2 years ago, it was emerging that there was a northern kind of an alliance. It was starting from the east. It was Malaysia, China, Russia, Iran, Turkey, Pakistan.
Right.
This was what was emerging. If you remember, the southern one was considered to be the United States, Israel, Saudi Arabia, India, perhaps Indonesia coming into that. Was not very certain of that vector at that particular time. But this was what was being considered. Now, this is all in a bit of a mix-up at the moment. We cannot say as to how this thing will happen, how the alignments really will take place, what the spheres of influence will be. But obviously, there's at the moment a huge rush to stabilize Afghanistan. The United States, despite its absence from the Afghanistan conflict as zone as such, is attempting also in its own way to stabilize that. All this is going to have play a major role in the future stability of the world and of this particular region. So therefore, Mr. Putin is coming to India at a very crucial time, I think,
Right.
when the Chinese threat against us, the uncertain situation in Afghanistan is at the same time on. We've got a major problem of energy still, which is taking place. Energy prices have gone shooting up in the world. The pandemic is still not ended, and therefore there is a need to have greater understanding and cooperation, international cooperation between nations, because it can't be seen to have cooperation between 2, 3, or 4 countries to finish the pandemic. You can see that the world's attention has not been sufficiently focused on Africa at all. And therefore, that could be the problem in the future. So how is this international cooperation going to really take place, and what role will Russia and India in particular play in this? How India's multilateralism will be seen by Russia? Will it consider it? How will it consider it as a threat to itself? Does it wish to have a relationship going back to what it was in 1970, 71, 72 onwards? Where is the relationship today? That is all up for
Right.
discussion. I think it's a very, very opportune time, symbolically too, as I explained right in the beginning. And I think there's going to be a fair outcome from this visit.
Right. So thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And of course, before I conclude, once again, my pranams to you for the seva and the sacrifice that you've done to this country.
Thank you so much, and Jai Hind to you.
Jai Hind, sir.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.